either one of those where the microphone is, yes, sir.
When you get to that item, is that something you discussed then, you can give pro and cons, or do I do it all now?
It's all right here, sir, yes.
Thank you. For 12 hours. I just
Drove
found out
12
about
hours.
the meeting on
Dang.
Friday. I'm John Shinholser. I'm the advocacy director for the American Veterans for Kratom Safe. I'm also a United States Marine Corps veteran and a Kratom consumer. And, you know, one of my jobs is try to educate people about Kratom, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we see these popping up all across, you know, the country. People want to ban Kratom. And what they want to ban is using an adulterated product or a more dangerous product, an illegal product. But the natural Kratom plant itself has already been proven to be very safe. The FDA, they would have banned it back in 2016 if they could, but they couldn't because we proved and demonstrated that it passed the Congressional 1994 Act to complete a 8-factor analysis test. When Kratom was, you know, remember the OxyContin epidemic? When they whacked that product for the consumers, a whole lot of pain patients, they didn't know what to do. A third of those pain patients were legit, and they found Kratom. And Kratom gave people their life back, and it saved a lot of lives. But since then, you know, it's a problem for addicts. I'm in recovery myself. I just celebrated 43 years clean and sober last month, and I'm very active in the 12-step community.
Yes.
A couple years ago, I participated in the Johns Hopkins human clinical trials on, you know, can you safely take Kratom for your ailment and not ruin your life, which I clearly demonstrated.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, what I've discovered that there's so much, it's such a great fail-safe product for responsible adult consumers. It's not the adults that's abusing this. People got to remember when it comes to addiction, that's a mental illness.
Did you share?
And when you look
Yeah,
at
I'm
other
sharing now.
substances that are abused, such as, you know, alcohol, meth, crack, it's always an underlying mental illness. So I got some, what I want to do is ask you to pause the resolution you're asking, take the time out to get educated more about the plant, the natural, pure plant product, understand it better before you just indiscriminately throw the baby out with the bathwater.
I love
Also,
that.
Human
Me too.
Services and the FDA, they just announced that they want to ban a terrible product that comes from an alkaloid of Kratom, 708s. We want it banned too, but they made it clear they're not messing with the pure Kratom plant products, the natural leaf products. The natural product is proven safe and very appropriate for adult use. These other products are terrible. Our vape
Nice
stores,
whispering.
coast to coast, these tobacco shops and vape stores, full of dangerous get-high products. I don't like them, don't want them in my community, and we're cleaning them up in our community back in Virginia. And I hope you do the same.
You
here.
hear that?
But the natural Kratom products
Okay.
are
I'm like,
clearly
dude, is that in my
proven
head?
safe. And I'm going to leave you with some information, and I'm asking you just pause that request till you get
Thank
further
you, Mr.
education.
Shinholser.
Exactly. Thank
We'll do that
you.
for you, no
Thank you.
cost.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it. Thank
John.
Mayor,
Yes.
I have some questions. Should I do it now or should I wait till it comes up on the agenda?
If you have some questions for him now, or a question about,
It's for him, either place, about this Kratom.
Oh, he's mad.
let's just wait until on the agenda.
You can tell
All
him.
right, calm back down.
He's ready to
Not going
fire
anywhere.
off.
No, I'll wait right
Okay,
here.
yeah, wait
I'll
for
sit
me.
here.
All right, wait for me.
Can I leave these with you now?
We can do it, you can pass them out when we come up, or,
Let me give it to you
Yeah, you
now,
can- yeah, that's fine.
and I'll hang out.
Yeah, buddy.
I got a special one for you guys.
So now we gotta wait till they get to the agenda item,
This is
which
what
is
FDA regulatory protocol package.
and we'll go through all that in a second. We got a couple more. All
I hope y'all read my email.
Thank you.
right, next, sir.
I do too.
All right, next up we
John.
have Joel McAlexander.
Dude, are they talking? Like, it sounds like a T. That's so distracting. Okay, yeah, we do have to. It's new business, so it's way down there too.
Oh,
son of a bitch.
Good morning,
Morning.
Mayor, council members. My daughter asked me to come and make a presentation today. She's married to Colin Miller, who owns this piece of property. My grandchildren are back there also today.
They're still on
I
agenda
was
number
partners
10 in
with
Manatee.
Colin's
Really?
father
Yep.
25 years ago when we built this section of Van Drive. We ended up doing some swapping. He ended up with this parcel, and I built some shopping centers.
Well,
on
I
the
guess
other
it's,
side.
well, never mind.
So I've been kind of not involved in this for a long time, but in preparation for this meeting, I decided to take a trip down Van Drive, and from Highland to where Gary Taylor's building,
Columns 3.
Problems 3, I guess is what, yeah, there's 4 miles. This is the only piece of property in that 4 miles that's not zoned commercial. In fact, it's only one of 3 parcels that is not built on. The other 2 parcels are the corners of the country club. Going in the country club, I understand they were in here about 2 or 3 years ago and got their 2 corners zoned commercial. Yet they're opposed to this one for some reason. Don't quite understand that. The purpose of this meeting is just to decide whether this is appropriate zone for this piece of property. I know there's a lot of other questions floating around. If it's approved, it'll go to back to the developer to come up with a site plan. It'll be presented before the planning commission, and then that will address all these other issues, the drainage study, the traffic study, the parking layout, street lights, the access to the property, any landscaping buffer zones. So all of that should be addressed at the next public meeting if this is approved. And you know, just for those reasons, I'd ask that y'all seriously consider rezoning this as they request. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you, Joel. All right. Next up, we have Colin Miller.
Good morning, Mayor, Council.
Good morning.
I'm here today to speak, like Joel said, for the rezoning of this property. In our opinion, the best use for this property is the commercial. The other option is duplexes, which if this doesn't get zoned, that's what we will be building is duplexes on this property. In my opinion, that's the worst thing for the area. And as Joel said, that this is the only property not zone commercial. And if you drive them down Van, they are steadily buying old buildings, knocking the buildings down, building new buildings. And so, you know, that says there's a need for more property on Van Drive. Right now, we're paying $750 a year in city property taxes. We've estimated to be over $250,000 to $260,000 in property taxes if this is built out to be commercial. I hope y'all see in your heart to vote what's best for the city. And with that, just please vote
Yeah,
yes.
Jennifer, they're
Sir,
jumping
you
around
said
in
that
both
duplexes are the
Manatee
worst
and
Purpose of the property. Why?
Jackson on the
I think
comments and
it
the
actually would probably hurt
agenda.
the value more than
Crazy.
the commercial will. It hurt the property values, the surrounding property values, in my opinion, just
All
on, our idea is to build them and, you know, you gotta rent them, and just rental over time goes down.
Thank you.
All right, they're on 15 in Manatee.
All right, next up, we have Libby McNary.
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna have to pass.
Okay.
I won't be able to get through that confident.
All right, next up,
Man,
we
they
have Todd
gotta go
Soroki.
all the way to 43.
Yeah.
Morning, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council.
Morning.
Todd Soroki, I live at 8 Barrett Place. Appreciate your time here.
Also,
today.
hey, Jen.
You know,
Hey, Jen.
I'm not here to disparage anybody. I'm really not. I think everyone in the council knows what happened. We tried to engage the developers. They backed out on a.
Scoot over toward the microphone.
They backed out on a handshake deal that they represented the council at the last meeting that we had reached. I've got that signed deal from the country club in my binder here.
Sounds like somebody
But
else.
they backed
had
out of it after they got this
Mhm.
approved on the first reading last time.
Not naming any names.
I think the developer's own words speak volumes for themselves. So Mr. Miller stood up, and I think Mr. Holman, I've heard these words come out of Mr. Holman's mouth. I'm not sure if it was in front of the council or not. But Mr. Miller described at the last city council meeting to describe the alternative to commercial development as, we don't want to be slumlords, but that's the alternative.
I forgot to share
Those are
that.
interesting words chosen by Mr. Miller. I've heard the same words out of Mr. Holman's mouth, slumlords. I know a lot of owners of affordable housing, affordable renting housing, that are not slumlords, that are great landlords. They appreciate their tenants, they're good to their tenants, they take care of their property. But they claim they're gonna build and maintain a slum over there if you don't give them what they want. And I just think that's really offensive. That's offensive to me, it should be offensive to everyone in the city council. The planning commission voted to not recommend that this property be rezoned, and that was for a good reason. You know, you heard Mr. McAlexander get up here and speak. You know, 30 years ago, this was the leftover piece of property, plus or minus 5 maybe usable acres, that was left over out of about 45 acres of development where they developed Cracker Barrel and some shopping centers. They developed condos across the street.
Cracker Barrel?
Lane. There's a reason why this is not commercial property. It's because it's on Country Club Lane, which is a 100% residential area. It's always been residential. It's always supposed to be residential. That was the deal that the prior administration made when they relocated Country Club Lane and created Van Drive and allowed all that development. There's really too many reasons to sit here. I don't have enough time in these 3 minutes. I think I've shared a lot of those reasons with you about not rezoning this property. Is it the roughly 1,000 people in the West Highland Reserve corridor? What's north of Van Drive, west of Highland, east of 45, and south of Oilwell in that corridor? Nobody wants us. There's maybe one resident, Alan Castleman, who's a realtor partner of Alex Holman, who lives over there, that has actually spoken in favor.
Dude, they're talking about garbage
So,
cans over here on
You know,
Manatee.
I just don't, I think this is the easiest decision.
He's like, well, we
I
need
think
to
they
be
vote
more
no.
clarification on which is
You
garbage
all-
and which is
you all will not have to
recycling.
live with what's over there. We will. And, you know, we tried to engage them, tried to work out a deal, tried to make, you know, a good situation out of a bad situation, and we got burned and it didn't work out. And that's unfortunate, but we'd respectfully request that you vote no on this rezoning request. Thank you.
Question. Yeah, I have a question to ask you.
Yes.
You said that, do you live over there?
I do, yes, sir.
All right. You mentioned that the planning commission voted not to recommend it.
Yes, sir.
And in looking over the minutes for planning commission, it appears to me that they didn't get enough votes in order for it to pass. And that would be different than voting not to recommend it. So do you concede that point?
If you'd be the expert on that, I would say that they came with a non-recommendation or no recommendation out of the planning commission.
Yeah, you have to have a certain number of votes in order for it to pass, and it did not get that number of votes. So they didn't vote not to recommend it. They just didn't get the requisite number of votes for it to go forth. You mentioned earlier that the developers, or Mr. Miller and all of them, that they pulled out of an agreement. They didn't do what they said they would do. Give me that again.
That's right. I mean, they stood in front of the commission and said we had a handshake agreement. We'd reached an agreement with the country club. We thought we had an agreement. You know, my stipulation was that we enter into the agreement before the first reading last Tuesday. That didn't happen last minute, and it made it past the first reading. And then they came back with material changes to a deal.
No, I'm asking, what is it that they said they would do that they reneged on, according to
That
you?
guy sounds mean.
Well, there's a.
Not the
there's
guy
a
that
few
said he
things.
had questions.
One has to do with the approval and review and approval of the
I think
drainage,
so.
which is a substantial problem in that piece of property over there. You know, and what we did, Councilman Donnell, we went in there and we actually offered our assistance, our help, our support, our friendship, wanted to bring them into the family and actually help them work with them to create a win in a bad situation for all the neighbors over there.
So let's do
So-
this. When we get to the agenda item and then we talk about, because that was discussed at the last meeting, then we can bring that topic back up, Councilman.
That's
and then
fine.
We can talk about that. So we'll do that. We'll wait for the agenda item to talk about those questions. So we'll call you back up then.
Happy to come up. Thank you so much.
All right, next up, we have Brandon Rowland.
Good morning.
All right.
Good to see everyone.
Next time we see each other, maybe it'll be fun. My name's Brandon Rowland. I was born and raised here in Jackson. Still proudly call it home. And I've had the privilege of representing this city all over this country and internationally, both in sports and business. And I'm here today because I want to see Jackson continue to thrive and for all of us to remain proud of our city. With that being said, from a broader planning perspective, a drive through Jackson makes it clear that we've fallen short in enforcing zoning standards. The aesthetics of our major thoroughfares are disappointing, and that's a direct result of lax zoning and allowing developers too much leeway. This proposal, as presented, would only add to that ongoing problem. Furthermore, over the past few months, as Todd indicated, we've had several interactions, myself personally, with one of the two partners in this development. And unfortunately, he has been very misleading regarding site plans, neighborhood considerations, tenant commitments, contracts with other parties, including misrepresenting to y'all who actually supports their rezoning request. Their own signage on the property indicates to me that they're not going to follow through with their high-end development that they keep promising to me. While I don't know the other partner personally, I believe he is generally respected. It's unfortunate that his associate has undermined this project's credibility.
Huh.
In closing,
That
I'd
seems
like to
cool.
say thank you for allowing public comments. I sincerely hope you listen to your citizens and consider the broader implications to our city and not necessarily special interest of a few. Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Jeff Vaughn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Folks, I was here last month. I am a local designer, been in the Jackson area since '92. And the point that I would like to share with you this morning is regarding the general design approach for solving the use of this property to the highest and best use of not only the business owners, the developers, but also the surrounding residents, the surrounding commercial development, and the property tax benefits to the city. So there's always more than one way to solve a design problem, and that's what designers are all about. And it's just how do we
Still
address
talking about
the
trash
primary
in
issue
Manatee.
of generating the highest and best use for the
I'm about- I
property
guess-
to the benefit of
Talked about
whoever's going to be
buying
developing and
trash
owning the
cans.
property, but the surrounding
This
community.
guy's mad about how
So
many they have to
that-
have.
That is the primary point that I'd like to make here. The concept of having it simply 88 duplex rental units on that property from an area resident standpoint doesn't seem to be the highest and best use of the property. There is also the benefit of having some commercial on this property for the area residents, depending on what the developer does with bringing a tenant in for whatever the commercial building or buildings might provide for. So the little concept that you probably received from me by email last Friday or over the weekend indicates an opportunity to generate residential development along Country Club to the benefit of those existing residential units along Country Club so that they don't have to look at a commercial development necessarily. And also provide for at least one commercial building right in the center of the property, which is a location where I've seen a previous development like site layout plan depict. And then on the far end where I've shown 3 residential developments, those 3 residential units could be replaced with yet another commercial building. So again, the concept is, or the point is, there is, in my opinion, through years of service, a way to generate something that is mutually agreeable, a win-win situation, if you will, but also a method of being a good neighbor call it, is it fair and reasonable to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships and be a benefit to the tax basis of the city of Jackson? Thank you.
All right, last we have Alex Holman.
Their room looks fancy too.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's going to be tough to respond to all that in 3 minutes, but I'll give it a shot. Last month, we came up here, Todd referenced an agreement multiple times. We were close to having an agreement with them. We met them at the country club. They're concerned about the drainage. You know, they've got a lot of acreage flowing into their golf course, and it's causing issues for them. I do want to note, they just did a multi-million-dollar renovation and really didn't address any of those drainage concerns on their own property. So I think that's an issue. But B, when he put all of the agreement that we were close to having in writing, he added a lot of approval language and things like that we're not okay with. And our bankers, our attorney, they all advised us not to sign it. So we're not going to sign something that our attorney advises us not to sign. So that's the story of what happened there. As far as him talking about us wanting to be slumlords, I mean, we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to explain, hey, this is the current zoning. This is what the current zoning allows. This is what we can do to turn a profit on this property. That we don't want to do that. We'd rather do something nice, and that's what we're here trying to do. And then as far as to kind of address the drawing that Jev has proposed, everybody's going to have a different opinion on this side, guys. The fact of the matter is we're the ones that own it. We know what we can do to make money on it. We know it's on Van Drive. We know we can do something commercial and make it nice. You know, kind of with the drawing that he's got there, we're going to have to spend $1 million in infrastructure and then sell 15, 20 lots for $50,000. I mean, it doesn't math out. But I do appreciate that everybody has their own opinion. It's just, you know, we've offered to sell the property multiple times to any of these neighbors at Jackson Country Club, and there's been zero interest. So we've given them ample opportunity to A, either come to an agreement, or B, purchase the property from us. And there's only one way to control exactly what happens to a piece of property, and that's to own it. So with that being said, that's really all I've got. I'd appreciate it if you guys would vote yes on this.
Thank you.
Was he the guy that shook the other guy's hand?
All right. That concludes public comment. And so we'll move on to first reading.
Sorry. Yeah.
Come on up, Nathan.
I think that was the dude that he said he backed out or whatever.
Item 1 is proposed budget amendment number 10 to recognize insurance recovery for Street Department Tractor Unit 4985 in the amount of $57,099.
So moved.
Second.
And first, second. Discussion from council. Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 2, proposed budget amendment to recognize the PSN grant Project Safe Neighborhoods for FY26, the amount of $44,370.
Motion. Second.
Motion second. Discussion from council. Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 3 is proposed budget amendment to recognize CFE Summer Job Connect Grant for $20,000.
I so moved.
Second. Motion second. Any discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 4 is proposed budget amendment to transfer $55,000 from ARPA funds from on-call truck to paving equipment trailer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion from council.
Yeah, let me ask a question about that. The on-call truck, what is the on-call truck? A truck that's on call, I guess. What is it?
It's a truck that's on
I am trusting that Austin is on his way up here.
Backup's on the way.
Yeah.
But
We got, no, Nathan, it's okay. Johnny's gonna do it.
sir,
Johnny's gonna do it.
Johnny's got it. Good morning, Mayor, Council. What was your question?
What the on-call truck, what does it do? What is it?
Oh, that's a 24-hour on-call truck that the guys is used as after hours.
They use after hours?
Yeah.
All right, now it's being transferred to the paving equipment trailer, and I don't ask any questions about that as long as it got the word paving in there. I'm fine with it. but at some point during this fiscal year, are you gonna have to come back and ask for $55,000 to get this on-call truck?
No, actually, we bought that truck last year, the on-call truck. That truck came in last year.
All right,
So we do have an on-call truck on hand.
all right,
I
thank you,
haven't
sir.
even taken my Kratom yet.
Just following the money.
Have you not?
Right
No.
now, where's that $55,000?
That's just a little bit of the ARPA money that's left over that was
But
budgeted
it's so
for.
addictive. That's all you
I
think
know.
about.
Statistics Review.
How in the world
And
could you forget it?
they
That's all
had-
you fucking
it
think
had
about, Misty.
Made it into this year's budget possibly because of when the truck came in
I've been
last
awake
year.
for
it was
2
still in the
hours
budget. They
now.
also need this, I mean.
Dude, I tell you,
think
I
they explained
didn't,
at the,
I don't
January
even know how
meeting,
long it was.
In order to actually
when I
use
was
the
doing
paving
yard
equipment
work,
that
but
we
it was
purchased, they're gonna have to have a
way
paving
like-
trailer for that.
And I was like, oh,
The
crap.
question was, why did we
I
not
forgot
know
to
this
take my
a month ago
Kratom.
when we did the budget?
Well, that's something I can't answer for you, sir.
Yeah,
I suspect,
Austin's here, he said they thought they could.
They thought they had a trailer that would
Trailer,
work.
they tried to work it and it was too heavy for the trailer.
Yeah, the lowboy trailer that we had on site, we thought that
Right,
trailer
good.
would actually work.
Thank you.
and to be honest, and I don't want to complicate this any further, it probably was not necessary to make this budget amendment, but we just wanted this to be visible to you, that the intent of the money was changing.
Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you, Johnny. Item 5, proposed budget amendment to recognize insurance recovery for City Hall and the NED in the amount of $19,455.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 6, proposed budget amendment to transfer $25,500 from planning contractual services to Commerce Street project.
Motion.
We have a motion. Second. Second. Discussion?
I do, the planning contractual services, what department's over there?
That's Stan?
Will you all have to come back in this fiscal year to ask for the $25,000 back?
They may.
It's possible, but not at this time. We don't have any need to do that. So this is to take the money that's basically in our contractual services that we usually pay our consultants with
I'm gonna go pee.
and move it. And y'all had approved a consultant contract with Kimley Horn to do the planning and the design work on the Commerce Street sidewalk project. So we're just moving the money over to the project side.
Now, when you say it's possible that you have to ask for it again in this budget year, under what circumstances would you have to ask for it back?
The contractual service line item pays for all of our traffic studies and the things that we do that are related to other projects. And so the only reason we'd come back to you is if we exhausted that money. And if we did, we would tell you why.
Okay, does it look at this point that you probably will exhaust the money?
We don't have any need to do that at this time.
Okay, well, I'm saying, but down the road, does it look like you would probably have to use the money?
Those contractual services, especially with traffic studies, are based on developers turning in projects. So we have no way to really measure how many of those we'll have. Of late, we've been doing a lot of them. We've had a lot of convenience stores that have come down the pike, and we have to do a traffic study for each one of those, and we have to have that traffic study reviewed by our consulting engineers. So at this time, we have no way to tell you if it's going to be adequate or if it's not. We will, if we come to you, it'll be based on a need, not a want.
Okay, and now is this necessary because the Commerce Street project is $25,000 in the red?
It's broken into two phases. And so the phase one we did in last year's budget, and this is the consulting for the second phase, which is the railroad crossing. And the reason why it was broken into two phases is because the railroad takes some time to work through and review the design and approve it. So that was the reason.
It's also,
Hold on one
I'm
second.
sorry. It's also relevant, this budget amendment also perhaps was not strictly necessary. They could have paid for this engineering out of contractual services, but this is just a matter to keep it visible to you that this is going to this project.
Okay, and this is for consulting, the $25,000 for?
It's the design services for the railroad crossing. We have to propose how we're going to go across the railroad and satisfy the railroad with it. So.
Thank you.
Councilman McMean?
Does the business owner that creates this need for a traffic study, do they not pay for that?
No, they do not. They pay their consultant to do the traffic study, but then we pay a consulting engineer to review those because we're not traffic.
So I think, yeah, they pay for the study, we have to pay for an engineer
Yes.
to review the traffic study and come back with a recommendation. Yeah. Councilman Lawrence.
So what do we know now that we did not know when we made this budget a month and a half ago?
What did we not know?
No, what do we, what has caused us, why wasn't this in the budget?
It was.
Well, not as an assigned item, it would be transferring, even though Nathan says you don't have to.
It was overlooked.
It was what?
Overlooked.
Overlooked, okay, good answer. Straightforward, I appreciate that.
I mean, I'm just,
Yeah, being honest.
Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you.
Item 7, proposed budget amendment to transfer $175,000 from recreation admin equipment and $250,000 from recreation admin buildings to senior citizen center, a total amount of $425,000.
I do have questions. on
Okay,
this one.
let's see, we get a motion on the table first, we can have discussion on it.
Motion. Second.
All right, now it goes discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Black, would you mind explaining to us, because I just want to make sure that we are not going to be shorting the park and recs and the equipment we were going to have for American Disability Act and that sort of thing, please.
No, it was not. We really took a deep dive and looked. This is coming from capital that was approved. Most of it mainly was with Kate Campbell for ADA and some other things, and we can come back in a later year and take care of that. So, and we looked at some other line items. We'll be fine. We will not have to come back in terms of, we will be back again for some amendments but it's budget neutral. Doesn't affect the fund balance at all.
Okay. I'm all for finishing the senior center, but I am really strong to get the equipment that we need for the ADA.
Yeah.
So just want to make sure that we're not falling behind in that.
No.
Okay.
Councilman Lawrence.
This is coming out of capital.
Yes.
I was thinking we were going to try to hold off on spending capital so we got a chance to review departments individually, especially since we need police cars so desperately. So I wonder, are we doing this before we make a full review? When we passed the budget, we basically just passed everything that was asked for, with the fact that these meetings, if I understood correctly, that we would be meeting the departments and reviewing them in detail. And so far we haven't. I think we ought to be holding off on a lot of big capital until we look at everybody's budget, not just the parks and recs.
Councilman Lawrence, this particular budget amendment is budget neutral, first of all, based on the budget that you passed. Second, we have a need, obviously, to complete this project. We're under contractual obligations to contractors for this one. Your larger point is well taken, and I would agree with you on a lot of this. This particular budget amendment, I think, in order to move ahead with this project, we need to go ahead and do this.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, refresh my memory. When we approved the monies for the senior center, we didn't approve all the money that was necessary in order to build it and furnish it?
So this particular budget amendment, it's one of these things, if you recall.
Manatee's
last
on
budget,
recess
we were
right
gonna come
now.
up and do like, well, we had a dump truck in the 24 budget, but you didn't roll over to the 25 budget. This is in fact
Oh,
the same
yeah.
thing.
Mine must be
The
like 5 seconds
funds
behind.
that were necessary to complete this project were not budgeted in the FY26 budget. Carryover funds are not something that we do. It's probably due to a misunderstanding about the appropriation process and how carryover works. Going forward, we're going to be sure that these kind of things are taken care of as we get into budgeting in January and February, and also some of the control systems that we had in place that I was speaking with Councilman Lawrence earlier about, will show us when these things are hanging out there, as it was. This just was simply not budgeted for, Councilman Donnell.
Okay, so when we passed the budget for the senior center, the answer to the question is we didn't budget enough money to complete the project. Is that
You
right?
did not budget any money in FY26 for the senior center. The completion of the senior center, excuse me. You budgeted operating funds for the senior center, but not actually the completion of the facility.
Was a request made of us to fund that?
No, sir, it was not.
Why not?
It was overlooked.
Man, that's the second overlook now.
Yeah.
But, and that's what I was saying, there are new purchasing controls in place that we're going to see these projects hanging out. They will be obvious to us beginning, well, right now. I mean, we could literally print a report and show you all the money that we've committed for any project this year. We don't have that from last year since we were not using a purchasing system last year.
So the equipment that was to have been purchased by the Recreation Department, that will not be purchased if this passes is a substantial amount of equipment,
So what
Mr.
now?
Black?
Repeat that?
The equipment that you all would have purchased for the recreation department with this money, it won't be purchased now, is that right?
Not this year, no.
And the, okay. All right, thank you.
Is it necessary, the 425,000, is that, I have to?
There, yes, ma'am. And, I mean, the funds need to be in the correct place for us to be able to pay the bills.
Sure.
And we will come back to you again in October with a slightly smaller budget amendment to reappropriate a couple of other funds. But, I mean, this needs to be done. I mean, there are contractors that we need to pay.
Any further discussion from council? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 7-2, no.
All right, item 8 is consideration of an ordinance to amend Title 5, Chapter 3 of the Code of the City of Jackson to add language that was originally found in Section 24.3 and 24.4 of the former Code of the City of Jackson, when it was under the Commission form of government.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. You want to run down, Nathan and/or Ron, quickly so we can explain what all that means?
It's terribly exciting because we are finally collecting property tax in our new Tyler property tax system. But in the preparation to do that, we had to enter the penalty and interest rates for delinquent taxes in the system. And wanting to make sure that we were fully supported in the things that we did, we went looking for the basis for those rates. And they were not where we expected them to be. If you look in the city's charter, the charter makes a reference to the code. And if you look in the city's code, it makes a reference to the charter. And so I brought this to Ron's attention, and
in searching for the basis, because we had documents that reference the formula that the city's been using on delinquent property taxes for decades, we were able to find it in a version of the code from 1982, I believe, in the mayor's cabinet. And so that was the formula for that you have been using as a city for decades. What we believe happened is when the charter was amended in '89, when your code of ordinances was recodified. The way I would describe it is the biblical scribe forgot to carry it over.
oh, good.
Yeah,
And so more of a clerical error than anything else. And so essentially what you are doing is you are recodifying the law that has been the law for decades as the law, so that way the public can see it again. It still has been in effect. Every time you pass a new ordinance, you have a new ordinance that is in effect but has not been codified. This is essentially the same situation here, just has been the case for decades, rather than typically a year at most.
All right, any questions from council?
What is
Council, please
laughing?
vote.
I know. Like, what the hell?
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, thank you.
They're like whispering and laughing.
Item 9 is consideration of an ordinance to accept a proposal from the Department of Transportation, of the State of Tennessee, in connection with a project referred to as interchange at Christmasville Road, Phase 2, Route I-40.
Oh, y'all don't need to change nothing on I-40.
Have a motion,
There's too much
second.
construction.
Discussion from council. Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Stan. Good job.
Thank you, Stan.
That was much easier.
Second reading.
He just got up there,
Proposed budget
sat down, and
amendment to
got back
recognize
up.
insurance recovery of $11,520.76 for JPD Unit 2262.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion second. Further discussion?
Let me ask a question. What insurance company is that?
PE Partners.
Who?
PE Partners.
Okay, I listened quite intently this morning on NPR about how it's been documented and a court case has come out that insurance companies
I'm gonna go grab my
shortchange their policyholders on total losses. And that most insurance companies do that, and that the insured has a right to get a third party to come up with what they think the loss is. So with this insurance company, we're confident that the amount they offered is sufficient?
And I don't, is Stacy in here? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to speak generally about this, and I'll let Stacy speak more specifically. PE Partners is not a traditional insurance company. It is basically a co-op of city and municipal members all over the state. The second thing is that in almost all cases, especially in that of a total loss, they employ, or we employ together, an independent adjuster to do these things. So.
Correct. That is correct. We work with the police department to make sure we get what they show as the values on the equipment and everything that's attached to that vehicle. We submit all of that to the insurance company. They do send an independent adjuster out to review all that, and that's how they come together with that number.
All right, thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 2 is proposed budget amendment to recognize insurance recovery of $17,580.23 for JPD Unit 2128 for repairs plus tow bill of $100.
Motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 3 is proposed budget amendment to recognize the AARP Community Challenge Grant for $20,000 for Office of Innovation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 4 is proposed budget amendment to recognize insurance recovery of $13,228.13 for JPD Unit 2272 for repairs.
Motion. Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
I'll let you get comfortable, Stan. Item 5, consideration of an ordinance to rezone property located at 191 Van Drive from RG1 General Residential District to SC1 Plan Unit Commercial Development
This is
District.
the last one before the
comprising
new
of
business.
5.03 acres more or less.
I was just looking at. Second.
Motion is second. All right. Now we can have discussion.
Mr. Chairman.
And then it's number
Stan,
5 on new
I mean,
business?
there's been
Yeah.
obvious concerns about design in regard to infrastructure and other factors. Could you briefly just walk us through the process? Because, I mean, this is.
I was
a
sitting there
zone
thinking,
piece,
man,
and
would have
what will it
been
look
good
like
to
as-
till 11.
If it
I gotta-
passes, if it progresses into the planning stage?
Yeah, I
Right.
guess
So,
maybe he's still on.
As you stated, this is the rezoning piece of the development process. They have to get commercial zoning to go forward with their plans to do a mixed-use development there. If the zoning is successful, then the SC1 zoning requires that they submit a pre-development plan, a preliminary development plan, prior to entering the permitting part of the process. That will go to the Planning Commission. We will review that and all those things that we talked about, at least the fundamental components of access and building placement, and those things are the things the Planning Commission will review, and we review also, and we give them a recommendation. As they enter the permitting process, that's not the end of it. Once the permit process is entered, they have now a detailed set of plans for construction, and we'll review that again, and that's when we normally get traffic studies, and we get hydraulic studies, and in the city of Jackson, we follow a zero net increase for drainage, and what that means is when there's the stormwater produced by their site. As you know, I'm not going to assume that you don't. Stormwater is just runoff in most cases, and so anytime you have impervious surface, parking lots, buildings, that water runs off at a quicker rate, and so what the hydraulic study does is measure the volume of that runoff, and basically what they have to do is they have to engineer a system that will basically produce the same level leaving the site as it did pre-development. So usually that's accomplished with detention ponds that hold the water and release it at a slower rate, so that the water leaving the site is at a volume based on what it was at the pre-development stage. Now, they're not required to fix all problems. That's not the charge when they're developing property. They're only to mitigate their drainage and what is produced there. Now, does factors play into that? Does existing factors play in? Yes, it does, but it does not. It's a component, but it's, again, if you had issues that are beyond the development and beyond the property, then they would not be required to fix that. They're just required to mitigate what comes through their site and what they produce that's added to that, and make sure that at the pre-development level, that they're not increasing it. So in a nutshell, that's what the drainage component looks like. The traffic component, we get a traffic study. They hire a traffic engineer to do that study. We have a consulting engineer that will review that study. And basically the study looks at the traffic produced by the development and determines what improvements the developer will have to do to mitigate that traffic caused by their development. That could be decel lanes along Van Drive. It could be a signal. It could be additional laneage. Could be on Country Club. It all depends on access points and the traffic generation caused by the uses that are on the site. So that's a synopsis. As the mayor knows, I could talk more, but I choose not to. So.
Question.
Go ahead, Councilman Meehan.
Does the public have an opportunity to express their opinion about what is produced at the Planning Commission meeting, the next phase?
It's a public meeting. They can attend the meeting. It is a technical review, so it's up to the chairman. The chairman can allow someone to speak, but again, it's not required. It's not a public hearing. It's a public meeting, and it's really about the technical aspects of the site, where the buildings are placed, whether they meet their lot coverage, whether their aisles are wide enough.
They're still way
those
down.
things that we normally
I mean,
view
way
as
up,
part of a
way
site
up.
plan.
Yeah.
Stan, you don't have any idea right now the size of the retention pond. It would have to depend on the plan.
It would depend on the hydraulic study, yes, ma'am.
Right, and then I also heard you say additional laneage. So are you saying that there is a possibility it would need a turn lane either on Country Club or Van Drive?
I would almost guarantee there's improvements like that that'll be necessary. Now, along Van, it may be a decel lane or as a right turn into the site. That would come off of their property or within if there's enough right of way, would come in the right of way. In Country Club, it'd be the same. We'd look at the turning movements out of there, and whether it was warranted to have an extra turn lane or a signal. We would look at that then.
Councilman Hope.
There's a few things that I just feel
Okay, they're on like presentations upon request or some shit, so it's not
was his partner.
underneath like the
People say things that aren't true,
agenda
especially when
part
somebody's
that's,
not there
Kratom or
to defend
whatever.
themselves. So to make it misleading to say that the one person that spoke for it was his partner and had some kind of financial interest does not seem fair or right. I wanted to clear that. Yes, they work for the same brokerage, but neither are the broker. But at the same time, my question is this: how much, or can you tell? Do you know what kind of property tax revenue we would receive from this versus it being rental versus it being commercial and residential?
Well, again, I can't speak to the level. I can tell you that residential property, if it's purely residential, is taxed 25%. If it is multifamily, if it's considered to be a multifamily development, then it'd be taxed at 40%. If it's a commercial development, of course, it's taxed at 40%. So the value would also change. Residential property versus commercial property has a higher value. So all that goes into calculating, but the property assessor does that. And while you could estimate or guess, or someone smarter than I could, I couldn't tell you what the difference is at this point, other than it'll be more than it would be probably now.
All right, any other questions, council discussion?
I have one more question. We don't really have a site plan yet, correct? We don't
No,
really-
that's not a requirement of the rezoning process. Again, I think I've explained this before. During the phase of rezoning, we're looking at is the property appropriate for commercial zoning? It's not. We don't get into site plan issues really at this stage. We're just saying, is it appropriate for the zoning they're asking for?
Councilman Donnell, you had some questions earlier. Are they
I'm
satisfied?
fine.
Good, okay. Councilman Lawrence, you have a question?
Okay, if this fails, when can it be brought up again, or can it be?
The zoning ordinance says if this were to actually fail, they're locked out for 12 months. They can't come back with anything for a year.
Could the council bring it back up?
Staff could, or the city, or I don't know about the council. It gets, but the council representing the city, I guess, could request that we bring it back up. I don't know that I've ever seen that happen, but and I've been here a little while.
I just feel.
So am I hearing yes, the council could bring it back up if they wished?
In the zoning ordinance, it says the city, the planning staff or planning commission, or the property owner. So it doesn't say city council, it says city. So if that's the council, then I guess if you voted
You just say, oh, I hadn't
bring
seen
it
it
back
before,
up,
but
you
does that
could.
mean it
So
can
I'm-
happen,
so I'm
bro?
understanding the question.
Right.
So you're asking if the council votes against the rezoning, can they bring the same rezoning back up before 12 months?
Right.
Okay.
It's been my experience that staff.
I mean, that would not be.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think
gotta-
Robert's Rules of Order say if a council person that changes his mind, he can bring it back up.
Well, okay, when we get into
think if you
reconsider
wanted-
now, and to reconsider, it has to be somebody voted on the affirmative.
I think if you wanted to do that, you would need to table it, if you
Correct.
sincerely wanted to have more discussion or more.
I'm pretty confident that the city or the planning staff or planning commission could.
Dude, that guy
the
sounds like
property
an
owner's locked
actor.
out. So
I don't know
that's
who.
to keep you from a resident or a property owner coming back every month and said, well, you didn't approve it this month, can I have it again? Can I have it again? And nothing's changed. So
council member?
again, I think it's
Yeah,
clear
dude,
that
talking
the
right now.
city and the planning commission or planning staff is not barred for 12 months, but the property owner would be.
And this is just
Mr.
voting
Chairman.
on, I'm sorry.
Holt, then Stovall.
And this is just voting on the zone. This is not approving anything with the plan. This is not approving anything other than giving them the zone so they can go through and start doing the studies and see what's actually feasible. Nothing's gonna be built, nothing can be built until all of this is done.
That's right. The zoning would just get the property zoned so they could do commercial development. They still got to go through the commercial development process, go to the planning commission, go through the permitting process. So there's several steps that follow after this.
And just for everybody, how long does that usually take? Because I know that there's one that we've been working on right now for almost 2 years.
It just depends on the factors associated with the property. If they got the zoning, then they have to go into the preliminary development plan can be done fairly quickly because it's just basically a start. The actual plans for doing the actual permitting and the traffic studies and the drainage studies take longer because the traffic study, sometimes those take months too because the developer will submit a traffic study, then we review it, and there may be some back and forth to get things where they need to be.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things. Last month, we had over 300 signatures requesting that we vote not to close Lane Avenue. And we went against those wishes, voted to close Lane Avenue. I don't think it's wise, and that's a much, much more vocal majority than the vocal minority that we've heard today. It is a very vocal minority, and I just don't think it's wise. I appreciate the drawing, I appreciate the concept plan, but to that gentleman, if that's what you wanted to do with it,
Are they
you
on
should
new
have bought the
business
property
yet?
and done it with it.
Nope.
These folks have
After
the
this dude,
vested
huh?
interest, they've spent
Yeah,
the
it should
money.
be after this
We've
time.
already approved it on the first reading, so I would be, as far as I'm concerned, I'm ready to vote, but the rest of the council can.
Mayor, if I could speak, you want to bring up the Lane property. It's totally different from this. Lane property, it was the property owner brought it. It was the president of the college brought it, and it was a safety issue. So it's totally different.
No, it's not, it's still 300
Okay,
residents.
let's address the issue and not each other. Councilman Lawrence?
It was mentioned the differences, and we got one of them is the water runoff that they wanted some control over, it, they being the anti-group here. What are the other differences? We were close to signing an agreement, and now it's blown up, and the parties are just miles apart. What are the differences? Can we pinpoint them?
You would have to ask the developer. I'm not an expert on their agreement.
Okay, well, I'd like to ask the,
Alex.
yeah.
You want
Colin.
this, Mr. Rosen? Two.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alex and-
Soroki.
Stan, you can sit in the middle.
Manatee on 35.
Yeah, they're not under that commissioner agenda yet,
So
though.
it's just, yeah, get Mike, there we go. All right.
So my question is, it seemed like we just were so close to having an agreement, and now we don't not have an agreement, we almost don't want to talk to each other. So what's the?
No, we'll talk to it. We met out there at the golf course, guys. Their concern is the drainage. There's 1,500 acres almost, 1,200 to 1,500 acres flowing into that golf course. And Colin and I'll speak on behalf of both of us, we feel like they're kind of trying to hold us hostage over developing
They've
our
got like a
property,
Wolverine fucking beard,
thinking
dude.
that whatever we develop is going to negatively affect their
Werewolf.
property. When in reality is, they've already got 1,500 acres flowing into it. It was built in a flood zone. That's kind of our view on it. Like Stan said, we're going to have to retain our water. Our water is not going to affect them. And the agreement that we had did not include a bunch of wastewater approval and things like this. Todd, when we met, we said that we'd let you guys review the drainage plans, but at the end of the day, we're going to do what's required by the city of Jackson and the engineers, the consultants that they hire. So that was kind of our major hang up was, that's not really what we agreed to in person. And then when he put it in writing, it's like they have approval over everything on the site. And guys, we're the ones borrowing the money and taking the risks to develop it. So that would be my response to that.
Oh, yes, Mr. Lawrence. I think there were a number of things, and I don't hate Colin or Alex. I don't blame. They're trying to make a lot of money, make $7 million here. That's why they're here. I don't blame them. I don't think there's a deal.
You're the ones that shook hands, right?
The difference is
Yeah.
loss of confidence, character, and being truthful about it. You get sometimes you get parties, and again, not to be disparaging, but certain people will say whatever you want to hear depending on the audience that's there. To gain approval and then sort of backtrack and retrade on those points. I don't want to get in a situation where I'm saying Alex and Colin are liars or Todd's a liar. I don't want to be calling people liars. But I know if we have deal points that are bullet pointed, we're sitting at the Country Club Lounge and that's in the agreement. And so the drainage is one thing. Review and approval of drainage, which shall not be unreasonably withheld. We're not here to be unreasonable. We're here to protect a thing that's been here 100 years. It's really good for the city of Jackson, like really good for it. If you want great development, you want businesses, big industry to come in town. Where do you think they come in?
I totally agree with that.
It's an important thing.
Great developments, we want business, we want to see growth, and we want to see it the right way. To that, can you tell me some things that you and Colin have developed that have gone towards that growth and good development and good businesses?
Yeah, I mean, here in Jackson, I've done stuff with buddies all over the country, but here in Jackson specifically, I did Jonathan's Grill off Exit 85. I was responsible for putting the Class A apartment deal together over there by Copper Creek. So,
Oh my God, I thought I
Banner
muted that.
Properties, the 300-unit Class A apartment complex. I've done a number of different lease deals and build outs and stuff, Domino's,
I mean,
Orange
it's
Theory,
behind the
stuff like
scenes,
that.
man.
But, Colin
What we do.
has
I
done
knew
multiple
the first
neighborhoods,
part, but I think
primarily
I'll hit it
Briar
again.
Hill off Exit 85, Palmer Woods, Ashbury Farms over in Three-Way. So, I mean, we've, although I'm fairly young, Colin's older than me, obviously, but, we've done quite a bit in Jackson to help further improve the city. So, I mean, if you just look at Exit 85, I mean, the Jonathan's Grill, all the other stuff that's going on over there that I've been pretty involved with, I mean, it's been explosive for that exit, so.
Councilman Lawrence.
Okay, and the water is a problem. What is your next difference that this felt?
I'm gonna remember that next time I drop by
really it. I
Exit
mean,
85.
we had our attorneys go back to Todd and
Jackson
we
Grill?
tried negotiating something that was more in line with what we had talked about, and I feel like we were kind of shut down.
Todd?
There were about 6 or 7 points. About half of them, honestly, I'm fine. Would have been fine with. The review and approval of drainage was a big thing. There's some just objective standards regarding materials that you're going to use in the development. Like for instance, like you won't have more than like.
Is she the
10%
only
metal
female
siding
up there?
on the back.
No, I thought the same thing, but there's two on the very end,
Something that
each
these neighbors
end.
on Main Drive don't want to look at.
I think.
Things like that. So that was okay at first, and then it wasn't. We
Unless
asked
I just
a brick
looked
wall,
wrong.
along Country Club Lane, just really for the.
I know there's
our
one
neighborhood
other one, though.
condos, and then one that divided the commercial development from the residential development. You know, part of this was sort of partner with them, not offering them gated access to our golf course for a high-end residential development they were gonna build. And then really the last thing was they wanted, and I understand what he's saying, but they wanted us, the country club, to give them another 25 feet of frontage along, basically the old abandoned portion of country club.
Man, the
lands that
stuff
they
we
should
learned
property.
behind this,
I
well,
know.
we're doing this real time
They
right
said
now,
for
but
landscaping easement.
this is what we
That
be
was never
saying.
discussed, and look, I had to sort of go out on a limb about.
And then we've been on here for what, an hour before we even went live?
Yeah, we got John testifying a little bit, but he coming up again, so.
You know, maybe they felt like they didn't need us, or I don't really know. But the consensus was that they backed out of the deal.
Nancy's
And I'm
still
just,
talking on
you know,
some
again,
other
I don't want to
stuff.
get into he said, she
Yeah,
said
they're-
situation. But there, you know, there's a couple significant issues, and we made a lot of concessions. And I think Alex will agree with me. At first, we want 1 acre retention pond. Alex, no, we can't agree to that. I said, okay, I'll take that.
Trash.
Did you say 1 acre?
Literally
Yes,
still
yes,
talking about
ma'am.
fucking
I did.
trash,
I
bro.
said, and I had that in there.
They
And
are.
I think
Yep.
plus or minus.
They've been talking about trash for like
5 acres.
an hour.
No, that's the whole size of that property.
Or the trash bin.
That's the amount we're looking to rezone. They were asking for 1 acre of retainage area.
1 acre.
And we backed off that. We said, you know what, you're right. You know, I don't know what kind of retention is going to require, but
Can
we
I
want
ask
to be
one more
involved in the
question?
process.
Councilman McNeese, he's next, and then we'll come to
Okay.
you, Councilman Wallace.
Ready for me?
We got Councilman Ming has a question, then we can.
So would the neighborhood, being president of the Lambeth Area Neighborhood Association, would the neighborhood be okay with 80-some odd rental properties?
I don't think the zoning supports that density. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can do it over there anyway.
Well, we can
Well,
ask that, does
the
it?
point being, you know, if Midtown could have done anything, we would have not had rental property because homeownership is the great thing. Commercial, we could have handled. Will y'all be happy with apartments?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody in the neighborhood. You know, if that's what they choose to do, if the city approves that over there, then, you know, so be it. I mean, we'll welcome them as neighbors as well over there. I mean, we really are a pretty tight-knit community, all of these different neighborhoods around here. And we are pretty unified. I know there's not everybody here. People are, you know, people at court today. We have judges, we have bankers, we got people that are traveling. There's a lot of people that are against this, and I know you've heard from them in this neighborhood. It's unfortunate.
So we have one council talking about trash and this one talking about like water drainage or something.
Yeah.
Tried to work it out, but.
I do want to note too, our first experience with Todd was not good. We went out there and cleared the property in preparations to get it developed, and I mean, you treated us very nasty that day, I'm gonna be honest. We've come a long way, but we did get ghosted by Todd and the entire Jackson Country Club for almost 2 months. They came to us right before last month's meeting, you know, dangled this contract in front of us and said, hey, if you sign it, I'll get you the votes. And that's not the way.
What?
That's not the way business is done, guys. We're trying to rezone a piece of property on Van Drive. It's the only piece that's not zoned. I mean, we're wanting to do something responsible here, and we think this is the best plan.
Councilmember Wallace.
Okay, I want to be real professional because I can feel myself. I don't want any more of he said, she said, any of that. No, I want the facts, period.
There's
In your
always
all's
3 sides
agreement,
of the story, baby.
If it's stated, you all would be fine with what the city says.
Yeah, they want
the
their trash
retention
picked up in
pond has to be.
Manatee.
Would that have been agreeable,
On time.
Todd?
I mean, I would have to talk.
She said
board about
Todd.
it, but
She called him out.
I think what I'm talking about is review and approval of what's submitted to the city for the city's review and approval.
Okay.
Mayor.
Oh, they
I
whispering
want to go a
again.
step
And that-
further, if I can.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. When we are sitting up here, we are supposed to determine only what is the best use of this land. I don't know if condos, I don't know if the rental property, I just know the front of Van Drive, I do feel is commercial. I would like to say to you, Alex, that your best intentions for this property, we've heard that, and I want you to stick with that if this is approved.
Right.
We have to find a way to move forward, to compromise, and I probably should end at that, but this back and forth,
Yeah.
and we can't do that. That's
We're-
not good for our city, it's not good for the people that want to move here in the corporations, and I will stop on that.
Agreed. Councilman Dodd?
Mayor, I would just like to, either way we have a motion, can we make a motion to table this and have a special call meeting to give these people opportunity to have a discussion again, to come up with something?
My opinion
'Cause
on
I
that.
think it's a great opportunity for our community, and I want to be
Yeah.
fair to the neighbors out there.
I want to remind Council, what you're all, there's a motion in a second to vote on is not the design of the property, it's the zoning of the property.
And let me just clear one
Can we
thing.
vote on that motion he's making?
On the motion to table?
Yeah, that way we can vote no and move on to approving or
Well,
not
the
approving.
fact of the matter is, I mean, I appreciate the good faith effort of the country club, the developers to reach an agreement. However, that is by no means a requirement. And this is zoning. You have to take a leap of faith as far as what will come after a zoning request. However, while we appreciate y'all trying to pull this off, it's not required.
And let me clarify that, because y'all are starting to kind of weave design stuff into a private agreement. That private agreement's not binding on our process. We're not a party to it, nor do we want to be. And we'll have to review it based on how we review things. And I get kind of uncomfortable when people start saying it'll be an acre, or it'll be this, or it'll be that. None of that's been calculated, and we'll have to review that, and it may take more than that, it may take less than that, I don't know. But just understand that private agreements like, and we tell people all the time, like restricted covenants, we don't enforce those. We only enforce the regulations that you as a city have adopted, and that's what we, now whether you take emphasis or you want to take that into consideration, that's up to you, but just understand that as we move through the process, we will only review those things based on our process and under our regulations, so.
Unless there's an objection from any of my colleagues, I call for the question.
I object.
All right?
Go ahead, Councilman.
When y'all do the review of the water and all, in the whole proposal, is any aesthetics considered in that or not?
Any what?
Aesthetics, looks of the buildings, what they're using. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times detention ponds become amenities, and at least they do in residential areas. A lot of times they have walking trails around them. Now in commercial developments, it may be a little bit different, but can they just have a mud hole out there? No, and with weeds growing up around it, no. But can it, it's to their benefit that they keep it in good condition, because the new regulations that have come down from the federal government state that they have to review that and maintain that detention pond into perpetuity. So, whoever owns it has to keep it in good working conditions.
So they present these studies to you and the planning department. Exactly how is that approved? Do you approve it? Do you carry it back to the planning commission? How's it approved?
We request that an engineer, a stamped set of plans, in other words, an engineer has to develop that plan, and then we ask our engineers, and if we feel like we need additional eyes, we ask the consulting engineers to review it and make sure that what's in the study makes sense. But again, ultimately, if something happens, if the engineer of record, which is the one that stamps those plans, doesn't work properly, they become responsible, and it still has to be resolved.
Kind of pushing point. So basically, when we say we mean you.
Yes.
You would be the one to approve. Okay, which is fine. Now, I think I've asked this before and got the answer I didn't like, but I'll ask you one more time. Is there any way that the city council could be involved in this after the preliminary development plan?
Wow,
After
these
these
people
two
in Manatee,
studies
you
got
want to
in?
know
I'm
the
talking about
time
water
their
and
trash
traffic.
man's supposed to
Yeah,
come?
when I say we, I'm talking about
Like, that's
our
asking a
planning
lot.
staff, the engineering staffs.
I just got through looking. I haven't even
Could the
listened.
council be
Like,
involved?
just have it out the day before, period.
Normally, you're
That's what
not.
we do.
I mean, that's what you've
Trash
the city
men,
has
dude,
hired
they're
us
my
to do,
heroes,
is to review
man.
that, and it makes it,
For real,
it makes
they be
it,
bringing all,
when you take a
it out.
process and you alter it, inconsistencies kill you. And so we try to stay consistent. The council doesn't weigh into those things because that's not your charge. The planning commission is supposed to be performing a technical review if you bring the council into it, it becomes political, and that's not what the planning commission is developed to be, and that's why they're set apart from you in their process.
No, that's
Unless
true.
there's an
That guy got
objection
a
from any
point.
of my colleagues, I call for the question.
But why are they there
Call
in the
for
first
questions,
place?
and vote on the call for questions.
Yeah.
Council, please vote. I'm sorry, no, ma'am, this is public comment is over.
You've got the country club and you've got the development.
Man, we had a call for questions, ma'am. This, council, please vote.
Ooh.
Call for questions. Vote on the call for questions.
Okay.
All right, now
Wow.
we're back on the motion on the table. Motion is second is the original motion for consideration of an ordinance to rezone property located at 191 Van Drive. Council, please vote.
Motion passed 6-3 no.
All right. Council, I've gotten word that there needs to be a quick intermission, so we'll take a 5-10 minute
hell.
break.
Here we
and,
go.
Come back in a few minutes.
Damn it.
I'm gonna go pee too.
All right. Hopefully it will be the next coming up.
I was trying to put some background music on.
Oh, shit, you scared me. I'm over here just listening to Manatee.
They still on the trash talk?
Yeah, no, they moved on to regular business. Did you find the chill music?
I am, but it's not. I mean, it's just like loading.
Yeah, mine is too. I wonder why.
I don't know.
And maybe it's because I'm sharing my screen and it's using that. I don't know. That shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Did you share in my group?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I remembered this time.
This is crazy.
Man, I hope they come on because I got like 45 minutes. Hopefully they'll be running late or something. I told them to call me when they're on their way over here.
Oh, and then you have to leave?
I'm staying here with my mother-in-law, but I mean, dude, I can't, she takes some attention.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, you can, did you say this is upload and play your own music on the stream?
I know, but I don't know if YouTube or Facebook would copyright it.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do like sound clips. That'd be kind of cool. Dude, I gotta say, man, big shout out to John, man. I still feel bad that I couldn't fucking go to this meeting. I mean, I guess technically I could have made it, but I wouldn't have been able to do public comment. I don't know. I couldn't have made it. I mean, because look, I mean, I had shit to do, but I'm just saying if I didn't have anything else to do today.
Yeah.
Bless you. Everybody's gone.
So make sure everybody heard it.
Well.
All right, we will resume the council meeting and we will go on to new business.
That's us.
Item 1 is a consideration of street acceptance request for South Creek Center Section 1.
So moved.
We have a motion? Second. Discussion? Council, please vote.
Okay.
Motion passed 8-0.
Item 2 is consideration of street acceptance request for Shiloh Springs Section 7A.
So moved.
We have a motion? Second. Further discussion?
Comment.
Okay.
I brought this up Thursday night. I just want this for the record that we are doing everything in our power to address stormwater that you said you had. I'll just let you speak to it because we've had some residents that were concerned about stormwater and what we're doing to address that.
Well, the streets, this only involves the actual streets, and we don't bring it to you until they've satisfied all our requirements. And so when we bring these streets for acceptance, that means we've reviewed it through its various phases. We've gotten to the end. We've done a final inspection to make sure everything's good based on our regulations, and then we bring it to y'all. And then after that, there's still a year warranty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 8-0.
Item 3, consideration of a street acceptance request for Shallow
So we're
Springs,
next.
Section 8B.
So moved.
Motion second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 8-0.
Item 4 is consideration of a street acceptance request for Shallow Springs, Section 7B and 8A.
So moved. Second.
Guess
Motion
not.
second. Discussion?
Number 5?
Council, please vote.
Motion passed 8-0.
Item 5 is consideration of a resolution to request the state legislature to
Okay.
ban the sale of kratom in Tennessee. And I'll turn that over to Councilman Stovall.
Yes, after article published by Mr. Shields in the Jackson Post and then receiving calls on the radio with Chuck Walker same day or that week, we had some residents that asked us to look at forwarding this to our state legislature. Now, we as a city cannot ban this, but what we are asking, and what I would ask, is that we send this to our state representatives, let our state look at it and better handle it. There have been 2,000 deaths associated
Oh
with
my
this
God.
nationwide.
Not
The issue to the gentleman who spoke earlier may not necessarily be the plant itself, but what we're seeing is in gas stations and vape shops all across our city, it's being put with other things. Miss Teresa Luna, who I believe was here, maybe she still is here, she actually wrote the resolution, and it's making what is called gas station heroin out of it.
Lord.
The folks at Aspel have also said that, you know, people who are coming off of addictions from meth and things of that nature are getting hooked on kratom, and so they're just trading one substance for another substance. And while there certainly may be some good qualities to it, I think what we would do here is we're not banning it, we're just sending it to the state.
But
letting
you're-
them look at it
yeah.
as a resolution. to
Yeah, no,
determine
you're asking the
what,
state to ban
what is
it,
the best
though.
course of action with it, because 2,000
It's
deaths
like
nationwide,
asking the
young people
state the
going
best
into
course of
gas stations.
action.
It's packaged, some of it's packaged like Sour Patch Kids and things of that nature. It's.
So you're asking the state to regulate
it's
it.
very dangerous and highly
Okay.
addictive, so that's.
You said that you aren't asking the state to ban it.
That's
but
what the
title
resolution
resolution says.
Thank you.
Requesting the state to ban it.
Well, yeah, so what we're doing, we can't, what I'm saying is we as a city can't ban it. It has to go to the state.
Right. But you're asking the state
Yeah,
to
I
ban
would,
it.
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you this question. I've looked into this, and there, from what my reading of it, this kratom, is that the way you pronounce it, kratom?
Yep, that's it.
There are two versions of it, natural and synthetic.
Yep.
And from all what I've read, that the synthetic kratom is the one that's still being sold in the gas stations, all that kind of stuff.
That is correct.
And then
Yeah.
you hear from the gentleman today who says that he uses it in the natural form and it helps him with his pain.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
And we received emails from others who use it naturally
What's up?
and not the synthetic. Would you, Councilman, be amenable to amending the resolution
Please.
to ask for the ban of the sale of synthetic kratom?
Absolutely.
Yes! Right.
Well, then I move that
Who's that
that
dude?
the resolution be amended to substitute in lieu of the sale of kratom, use the words the sale of synthetic
Okay,
kratom.
so let's do this first. Let's get a motion and a second on the resolution, then we can amend the resolution.
I don't know.
Get a
Isn't
motion
the
on the
initial guy that we
resolution.
thought was mean?
As written
Yeah.
down, we can amend the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All right, now, Councilman, you have a motion to amend the resolution to include synthetic as opposed to just
Yes, sir,
kratom.
to delete the sale of kratom in the state of Tennessee, to change it to the sale of synthetic kratom in the state of Tennessee.
I think his name is
Motion
Donald.
is second to amend the resolution to state that the sale of synthetic kratom in Tennessee.
Much
We have
thanks.
discussion
dude.
on the motion now, on the amendment, motion to amend right now.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
So how did we get this into a resolution, not knowing and not understanding that there was synthetic and actual?
Because nobody does any research.
Well,
Which makes me have
I will,
concerns.
I'll say this, I am,
Yes, I'm.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
going to ask
absolutely.
if you had any
feedback.
Morning. Here we go with the
All right,
misinformation.
yes, there are both. The plant is, in and of itself, has a couple of psychoactive ingredients in the plant itself. Now, it is synthetically refined, and that's what
No,
we're
it's
seeing
not.
in the convenience stores.
Oh, wow.
What I wanted to express to the council is that the state legislature has already passed a joint resolution, and was signed by the governor in May.
To restrict or
strictly
or regulate
and prohibit kratom in sale.
Strictly regulate.
For possession and sale in Tennessee, if not an out-and-out ban. So they have not gotten to the point where they have had a bill pass to actually criminalize it and add it to the Controlled Substance Act as a state. The feds have not done that as well. But it is on the DA's list as
Get John back up there.
Product.
Come on, John.
So, is this required since it's already passed?
No.
I couldn't tell you that it's required or not. It certainly would be support for the existing resolution that just got passed.
To say,
I believe the county also passed a similar measure as this.
But they did have a joint resolution to, I guess,
Strictly
to
regulate.
come to an agreement to finalize a bill. But I think that would be in the next session. I think something was proposed about in 2023 or 24 that had some obstacles because of the synthetic and the natural components. But so I think they've come back to the table. And so I think that's something that will be in this next session.
Have you seen much of it here locally in West Tennessee?
Yeah, we have seen some things. I've been notified the same thing that you've seen posted on social media where they are. It's type kind of like the vaping, that those are marketed as well to teenagers. A lot of the vaping products, obviously you have to be 21 to possess those and use those, but they also are marketing, different colors of packaging and stuff for youth. So.
All right, we have any additional questions, discussion on the amendment to placing their synthetic kratom as opposed to just kratom? All right, we're voting on the amendment. Council, please vote.
Motion passed 8-0.
Now we're back to the original motion with the amendments.
yes, nice.
Council, please vote.
Motion passed 8-0.
All right.
Nice.
Moving on to item 6, consideration of a contract with Work Care
Wanna go back
Resources
to
for
Manatee?
Occupational
Does
Medicine
John get to go back up
Services.
there?
I don't know.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second, discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 8-0.
Item 7 is consideration of a resolution approving consolidated annual performance and evaluation report, the CAPER report from
Oh, we go
2024,
back to-
2025.
What you
Oh,
call it?
you want me to stop sharing mine? Hold
So
on.
moved.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion?
Okay.
That's how it's done. Like,
That exactly is how it's
Everybody
done.
watching this who takes 7OH, you had your opportunity to go fight.
Yep.
Okay, let me go back to my Manatee.
Man, shout out to Tennessee, bro.
What, man? Man, oh me, oh my.
Even the cop, dude. Even
Even
the
the cop.
policeman. He was honest.
Can you see the screen while I'm doing this or no?
No, no.
Okay.
Somebody said in the comments on their live stream, get rid of it now.
Screenshot that.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Hold up. Why is my string what? Okay. Never mind.
And just
I was thinking.
if you can hear me, okay.
Yes, go ahead and
just-
continue.
You all made the correct call when you didn't vote. I think there's on the wetlands and on the urban boundary, every chance that if you had, we might not be talking to this board today. You absolutely should join in on that suit. It is not going to be easy. I think
My
you're gonna
volume
find
was
a lot
still
of money
playing, and I
and
couldn't figure out what I was
sadly,
listening
state
to at
taxpayer
once.
money, which is also ours, is going to be used.
I'm like,
for
what is
outreach challenges.
happening?
But you have no choice, in my opinion. Basically, if you look at what's happened in the legislature over the last decade or two, and if you want to just get really recent, 2019, they passed a bill that was very pro-developer and basically had a chilling effect on average citizens getting involved in local land use decisions. You can ask Don McClash about what happens there when you got to go on risk for, $250,000 or more of attorney's fees. They then ran another bill through in 2023, and then in 2025 we had a number of bills introduced which got beat back down because there was public uproar, and then they snuck this amendment into this bill without it being in the title, which is why one of the reasons it's unconstitutional. A reasonable reader needs to go look at the title and know what's there. There's nothing about it.
Yeah, they just adjourned
and
the
from that perspective,
Jackson.
I think you got a good chance.
Yep, they
I feel
amended
bad,
it.
John.
Legal counsel.
Yeah.
Want to share with
I feel bad
a
John
couple
went
of
all
the
the
folks
way
that
up
talked
there,
in with
dude.
y'all.
Same.
And maybe for consideration to put on your website.
I'm glad they read our emails.
legislative delegation, which did us absolutely no favors in this. And
So they amended it to synthetic kratom, but leaving regular
They
kratom
have
alone.
their annual, before we go back to Tallahassee meeting, it's October 27th, 8:30 till noon. Might be good, post that on the county website. County may want to be represented. Obviously, you'd need to talk to your council and where you are in this proposed litigation, but those folks need to hear from the community. They need to hear, if you look at how they bill that meeting, they need to hear from local elected officials about what happened and what is happening for the next session. That's a great opportunity. They do make it fairly onerous, so you have to register ahead of time. You have to send them a brief summary of what you're going to talk about, and some of us are already registered, some are not. I don't want to, I think the other two things to share with you is,
You're gonna have to start
I did study
we're not
a
gonna have
while
time for
back,
two
which
things,
I
Larry.
I think I shared it with most of y'all, that basically talks about the taxpayer, the current resident taxpayer cost for funding
Larry,
additional.
Larry, you're well past your 3 minutes. We don't have time for you to present two things. You could send us an email, however. All right, caller 750.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Mark Vandery, Manatee County, representing Waterline Road Preservation Group this morning. We are, the majority of us are in favor of the county's participation in this lawsuit challenging Florida Senate Bill 180. For all of the reasons previously stated by my fellow citizens,
I'll definitely have to put
even to the point
timestamps on this one.
specifically on the wetlands and the policy 2128. There are some neighbors out here who would have preferred to storm the Capitol and burn down the State House altogether, but listening to what Mr. Gibolino was saying, we citizens were not done any favors in Manatee County by Senator Boyd or Bill Carnley's votes to pass this SB 180. And those representatives should be reminded that in the state of Florida, they can be recalled. They don't have to serve out their term. And in order to preserve our home rule as it should be, those actions may follow. But for now, please pursue this participation in the lawsuit. And I think we can get it done. Thank you very much.
Caller 454.
You just all over there typing away?
Colleen
You can
Gal,
hear that.
Manatee County. I reiterate the sentiments of the folks that have gone before me and urge you, as it is imperative for you guys to join the lawsuits across the state that are challenging SB 180, an otherwise decent bill that was sabotaged, and not merely through partisan action, but it was bipartisan. So I know some people make comments about that, but it was, we have to have greater scrutiny of our legislative delegation, and people just vote them in because of partisan leanings. But anyway, I want to make sure that you guys stand strong. I mean, there are some vocal people out there thinking that you should have gone on and done this vote on principle, but we have to be pragmatic here and use legal means to challenge the law that are available to us. And I don't see any reason why any of you should, aside from losing your job, face potential civil and criminal penalties from the governor. And I'm sure that they would seek it.
I'm so lost.
At the urging of the
Yeah.
developers here. So,
Same.
glad that you did the right thing. I wish you didn't make a big show of it beforehand, so that when you actually turned around and did the right thing to just join the lawsuit, to draw the terrible reaction from people that are maybe not fully informed about the full cost of doing it the wrong way. But anyway, do that. I also want to urge you to make sure that you have proper aid in your legal department so that we don't screw this up. If there's any way, just make sure it's done. I feel sometimes that county attorney is more interested in avoiding lawsuits rather than executing this will that protects us. And make sure that it happens. Give her whatever resources that she needs, so that her office can make sure that our home rule is protected and with a proper legal basis. And that's it. Thanks a lot. Keep up doing the good work that you do. A lot of us worked very hard to put you there. And the last thing we want is for the 4 idiots that we, by the grace of God, avoided being in your seats right now. Thanks, and have a great day.
What are you writing?
800.
Do what?
What are you writing?
I was just doing like the
The timestamps?
Hello,
yeah,
ma'am.
well,
David
Tom
Daniels,
stands like the
Manatee
end, not the introduction. Hell, what's
I
it
agree
called?
100% with the other callers.
Explanation or
especially
summary?
Dr.
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah.
made some very eloquent comments. I think it was Mr. Chinnis that said
I'm gonna send out
that
an
these
email to the
developers should
Tennessee
be
people too.
working with
After
us.
this is over, so I can
I would
send the
argue
link.
instead of working with us, they're sending threatening letters, and those letters are sent to the board. But those letters that are making demands that we withdraw wetland protection, and even the amendment going, before it's even approved, demanding that their withdrawal or quote unquote, this will not end well. Those are threats to us, and that's not the place where we should be. And I hope that this board does not bow down to those kind of threats. The other thing I would remind people is this lawsuit hasn't even been filed. So assuming this board does the right thing and votes to join it, there's another election at the state level in less than a year. And it's far likely we'll be at that point before anything's decided from this lawsuit. And I urge everyone listening that we pay attention and we stop sending the same old people back there that preempt, that not only restrict our home, or this portion of our home rule regarding the zoning and development. But they've been preempting home rule for years, and they vote for the special interest, and we keep sending them back up, and it's time that we stop doing that. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Caller 311.
Are you still typing?
Hello,
Yeah.
Commissioners. My name is Lindsay
All the
Lee. I'm a
time.
Manatee County resident residing in Mayaca City. Additionally, representing Florida Keepers as the Tampa Bay leader, I'm calling to urge you to stand up for home rule and join the lawsuits against SB 180. This law strips our local governments of the ability to enact planning or regulatory safeguards. It hands our power to developers and leaves communities like ours without the tools that we need to protect our natural resources when they are most vulnerable. We don't have to look very far to see why this matters. Here in Mayaca City, we currently have 2 golf course developments that are now pinching our river. I did email you all some photos of that, but the required 30-foot buffer is not being respected. Massive fill dirt, deep pond excavation that is absolutely mind-blowing to witness, and a flimsy plastic barrier that all stand between that project and the Mayaca River, not to mention the wetlands that they are covering with mountains of toxic sand and fill. My questions are, who's monitoring compliance? Who's testing the water for turbidity, runoff, contamination? The answer seems to be nobody. And this exact kind of situation is where we need strong local authority.
Dan, this
Instead,
is
SB
still just
180 ties your hands
37
and
of
prevents
the
you from
regular.
acting in defense of our river, our communities,
So they haven't even
and our
gotten to
rural
like the
agricultural way of life.
commissioner
I
agenda item.
respectfully ask
Damn.
that this board join the lawsuit against SB 180 to preserve home rule and to ensure that Manatee County retains the power to protect the Mayaca River and other irreplaceable resources from destructive growth. People in Mayaca City and across the county expect you to defend our water, our land, and our quality of life. If oversight fails and SB 180 goes unchallenged, we lose not only our environment, but also the trust of the people you represent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Caller 670.
Hi, this is Matt Woods, Manatee County resident. Just want to call and encourage you all to join the lawsuit challenging SB 180. There's been a ton of great information already relayed to you all, so I won't belabor the point other than just letting you know myself, my family, and several community members in my neighborhood definitely have discussed this, support this, and as much as I tend to be a conservative-leaning person, I vote for people that make sense. And some of the people I've voted for in the past, whether it be the governor, Senator Boyd, Representative Connerly, they're not doing their job because I don't believe they're fairly representing the will of the people of Manatee County. We need you all to protect home rule. I have expressed my concerns to all of the people mentioned before, but you all are entrusted to protect Manatee County, and I trust that you will do that. It will be ugly. We'll have many more innuendos and veiled threats, I'm sure, but doing the right thing is not easy. So just know you are supported, and God bless.
Thank you. Caller 787.
Hello, Commissioners. This is Chris Whitaker, Manatee County. Thank you very much for covering the issue of Senate Bill 180, and I'm very pleased to hear all the callers today and all the speakers. Really appreciate the constituents and really standing up and voicing what we need as a community. I believe we're all in a majority in agreement with this and support you guys joining the lawsuit for this bill. It's very damaging to the commissioners and being able to make great decisions that really affect us and our families. So I also really respect all the commissioners and everything they've been doing and the courage that they have. You guys really have been great since you've become commissioners in office, the ones we voted for recently, and can't say enough how much we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Man, Texas put out a health alert about 7OH calls.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Really?
Close public comment. I have 2 commissioners on the board. There, Commissioner McCann.
I'll let Commissioner speak.
It says of the 2025 reports, 19 were exposures to concentrated 7OH product.
Thank you, Commissioner.
With most of the calls coming in on July and August.
So I'm glad to see this item on the agenda. I'm glad to hear that we're firing on all cylinders for what is ultimately some pretty bad language in Senate Bill.
Of the
180 and
19
certainly the whole
patients,
bill.
11 had
So
health
thank you,
problems serious
County
enough to be
Attorney and
treated at a
Commissioner
healthcare
McCann for
facility.
bringing this forward as well.
Wow.
To be clear, we are taking on language that at least 3 of us heard at a Florida Association of Counties meeting this summer. Developers are actively looking to litigate the definition of more restrictive and burdensome. That's operating in bad faith. If you actually care about properties that are of homeowners who are recovering from the storms, then you just work with us. I've yet to receive one call from any builder to talk to me about how we can make it easier to let property owners rebuild their homes, and I represent the most hurricane damaged part of the county. I've worked with plenty of homeowners who have had no problems recovering from some of the storm damage, and I've had staff willing to work with us just as recently as last week to resolve a couple of billing issues for utilities. So this notion that we're restricting homeowners from rebuilding is just ridiculous. It's false. And I certainly welcome the developer community to work with us, and certainly in Tallahassee, I hope to see you there to define this language. I won't see you there, I doubt it. But that's really the only way to show that you're operating in good faith. So I welcome us joining this lawsuit. I think it's the only way to make sure our voices are heard, that we're not just talking to legislators privately, but we're making it clear this is what the voters want, but also what we want. And it's not just about home building. It's about implementing good policy. We're prevented from passing any kind of land development code update, which could be more restrictive. Somebody wanted to ban a certain type of business that's causing harm to minors, or we're talking about Kratom later. You can't do that through the land development code. You can't pass good policy. It's not all just about the home building industry. It's about just passing good, sensible policy that we just can't, at least through our land development code. So I welcome this opportunity to rectify that issue. I think at the end of the day, this is a bad faith attempt to weaponize our court system against us. So I certainly welcome the collaboration from the development community. It's not going to happen, but I welcome it. And I will look forward to see what the rest of this board has to say. But I'm in favor of joining this lawsuit.
Did you want to go, or you want me to go to Commissioner Phelps? Okay.
Thank you for your comments, Commissioner Siddiq. It's actually more than that. This is about control. These are builders that are actually threatening lawsuits on 2 pieces of paper that are in a drawer. If we would have voted, right in the statute itself, it says these are void, null and void the minute you vote. So them suing for a declaratory judgment, all they want to do is say, we have control, and we're going to use taxpayer money, and we're going to take that taxpayer money to do that. This is all about the fact that, they aren't happy with the last election. They aren't happy with the fact that we actually want, to give quality of life back to the people. We want to put back the wetlands. I ran on that. And I will tell you that, this is all about control. We have lawsuits on everything. Every time we burp, it becomes projectile vomiting and ends up in a lawsuit. The thing that is really ridiculous about these lawsuits is they aren't gaining anything by doing it. They're just costing money, and they're saying, this is what we can do, and we're in control. Well, we do have an election coming up in a year, and, they're going to learn that their control is time limited. The problem we have here, again, is the lawsuits that are being threatened. Right now, they're using the state as a tool. They're using a law that's very questionable as a tool. So again, we do need to join this lawsuit. I wasn't aware that the county attorney was going to bring it up today, so I had it in commissioner agenda anyway, because I think we need to join this lawsuit. I think they can actually, look for an injunction and actually let us start to run the county again, and give the people what they need, not what they want, what they need. I've had an area that flooded in my district that, it flooded a couple times before, but not to the severity with Debbie. And I have people calling me up now saying, it's raining outside. Every time it rains, I get a bunch of phone calls saying, that river's rising, it's already up. So we really need to look at this lawsuit, and we need to get into it immediately. Thank you.
Americans are lawsuit happy.
When I first started looking at the issues with, goes back to 250 before we had 180, it was becoming kind of the standard process. We would vote on a new development, and before leaving the dais and getting up to my office, there was already a piece of paper on my desk saying that, we're going to sue you over this. It just became part of the process. I was worried that with going into a lawsuit that maybe we had other ways that we could resolve this, because pride is we'd hate to admit when we've made a mistake. So it's often not easy to convince somebody that they've made a mistake by hitting them over the head to say, you made a mistake, you made a mistake. It's not going to make them any more pliable. And people have a certain sense of pride. But I think bringing up the point that we're all selling the same thing. If we don't have a good Florida, people aren't going to come here. And if people don't come here, they're not going to buy those houses, and they're not going to play on those pickleball courts, and they're not going to go to those parks. So I think we all have something in here together. But the direction of the board began with small steps. I think Tal before did not introduce the lawsuit. He was looking more at getting our lobbyists to act a little bit stronger. George mentioned bringing in the Florida Association of Counties, or what does Pasco County say? And I think that what I would like to make clear with this is just part of the American way. We abide by it. We have a law that is made. We abide by that law, and then we legally find ways to change that law if they don't work for us. And this is the same thing that I feel when I get a letter on my desk that a land use decision that I've made is going to be challenged. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely the way we do things. And I think the people, we took a lot of heat for not acting immediately on this, but I think we took a prudent way about it. Dr. McCann introduced it. Our attorney has reviewed it. Our people have spoken, and we got called cowards, and we're only in this for the money and everything else. But we were doing things in a prudent and a manner that this is not about animosity to the governor. It's not about, and I'm not going to frame it that way. This is how our democratic republic works. We bring in a law. It may not be a perfect law. The hardest part is to admit when you're wrong. And so I don't want the lawsuit being seen as antagonistic or with animosity. It's not a good law. And not good laws need to be changed so that they can serve the people. And I think this commission should be very proud to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Here we go. I appreciate all the board's comments. Commissioner Sadiq, you're always very on point. Commissioner McCann, thank you for your comments. I know sometimes you and I disagree, but we'll always agree to disagree sometimes, but we do agree. Here's what I'm looking at. This law, I mean, I know where the board's going to go with this, but why do we need to join now? We took a breather on voting the other day on going and moving forward with the wetland rollback and the 2128, repealing 2128. My point is that we continue to, and to Glenn's point, we continue, we're poking a pretty big bear here. We've already felt appropriations get withdrawn or vetoed. We know that the DeSoto Bridge money got pushed out. That was supposed to start pretty quickly here. It got pushed out to 2032, 800 million of it. I don't know if that's retribution or whatever, but it's going to be painful. We can join this lawsuit at any time. At any point, we can join this lawsuit. I prefer to wait to see what the filing looks like, to know what exactly that's going to be into the lawsuit, so we can understand, our county attorney can review it. All the county attorney said today is there's no conflict if we wanted to join a lawsuit. She hasn't seen the lawsuit to review for the county and advise us as her clients on what this lawsuit's going to do. We've seen that we've had long-lasting effects. This lawsuit is not going to be a short lawsuit. It's not going to be over in a year. It's not going to be over in 2 years. I think this is a 3 to 4 year lawsuit where some of us won't even be here anymore, probably, or we're about to run for the election at that point. But I think that I just want to see, sit down, really analyze this. I don't even know the attorney that's filing it. I'd never heard of the guy before, never met him. I would like for him to, maybe do an individual calls with all of us and say, give us some idea of where he's heading with this. We're already working with FAC. Commissioner Cruz and Commissioner Sadiq have got us into FAC with their going up with their verbiage that they'd like to see, and other counties are joining that. Other counties are joining that quicker than they're joining the lawsuit. We got 67 counties, and only think one maybe has voted to join it. 3 of us are going up in October to meet with the delegation, to meet with committee chairs, to talk about how we can make this language better in 180. And it just doesn't affect us. It affects 67 other counties. So, we're going to go up there. We're going to work hard and try to figure out how we can, either work the language in, make the language better. I know Commissioner Cruz, Commissioner Sadiq, myself, and I believe Commissioner Ballard is going up to work on this. I'd rather build consensus with other counties and be able to go up and say, hey, look, this is what we want, rather than slapping a lawsuit against the state of Florida, which there will be retribution, I'm telling you. We're feeling it now, just over 2128 and over the wetlands. So I would ask that we just take a breather like we did the other day. Let's get some more information from this attorney on what I know he can't disclose to what his plan's going to be, but I would like to have some more conversation with this attorney over in Fort Lauderdale. I know he's probably a very good attorney. I think this is what he does a lot of. But also, we already have, Commissioner Cruz knows, and I know, and I believe Commissioner Steek knows, there's already amendments that are being worked on to go through the committee process, to get to the floor, to help work with this process. Because I do believe, even though people don't believe that our legislators are hearing us, I think they are hearing us. They are hearing that this is a bad bill. But remember, both Democrats and Republicans voted for this across the board. It was, I think, one member in the House and no members in the Senate voted against it. So, granted, is it an ugly bill? Yes. Is it need to be worked on? Yes. Do I think taking a break and stepping back for a minute and letting our lobbyists do what they do, let this commission do what it does, trying to get to the delegation to at least affect some type of change in the bill where it's not the way it's written today. That's what I'm just, let's just take a breather on it. It's very heated. It's very pragmatic. It's very back and forth. Letters flying from everywhere. We know that the Plaza level in Tallahassee is not happy. I just don't want to see further damage done to Manatee County maybe something potentially that we can work on with other counties, with FAC and other opportunities like that, rather than just filing a blanket lawsuit against the state of Florida. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Ballard.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I do think that the lawsuit it's a legal and it's a proper way to clarify the meaning of the law. I don't know
Dude,
that
that
it solves
sounds a
the
little
problem
tiny
as
bit like
quickly as we
Laura.
want to. I
I
think it
know,
would be
huh?
great if it were enjoined on an emergency basis, but we don't know that that's going to happen, and it is going to take a significant amount of time.
That's crazy.
So I don't want the
Yeah.
public or anybody on this board to have an unrealistic expectation of the timeline of the suit and how quickly we're going to achieve what we want to achieve here. I think a lot of people in the public want to see us, symbolically fighting back, and I do think that that has value, but it does have costs as well. Our power is derived from the state. And obviously they do have the power to withhold funding. That includes large grants, projects from FDOT. I'm not at all saying that the suit isn't worth joining, and I will be voting to join the suit, but I don't think it's going to be a quick resolution. I think there are going to be really significant knock-on impacts. And I think all of us need to have our eyes wide open as we move forward, and understand that it's not just $10,000 to join the suit. There are going to be a lot of other impacts as well. I think that concurrently we need to continue working really hard with our legislators, trying to work collaboratively, trying to get this resolved through amendment and language. I think that that is a quicker and cleaner way to do it. But I will be voting to join the suit, but I do have significant concerns about what it's going to potentially cost the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Phelps.
I just wanted to thank you, Commissioner Ron, for how you presented that. But I just, and this is the same thing. Look, this is not an approach with animosity. Okay, this is how we get things done. This is part of, and it's not meant to be that way. So to say that, utilizing any type of language, whether pro or con against doing this, that, oh, we're going to lose funds, oh, we don't have to do this. Not that way. That's not the way it's done. Okay, we're not doing this as any more than a course of action. It's a course of action that we have to take. So for using language, and I'll put it on both sides, no, I do not want to rename it the DeSantis Memorial Park, just out of pettiness. We don't want to do that, right? But neither are we coming at this lawsuit with saying there's any other way that this is how we get things done. And yes, it could be a long process. Tell you what, the hardest thing for the government to do is to decide, well, maybe we might have made a mistake, but pride is not your friend. And I said this a few years ago, that how you vote on this wetlands issue is going to determine how the voters vote in November. And for those of you who are looking for another term on this board in 2026, I'll make the same prediction. How you vote to stand up for your people of this county is going to depend on who stands up for you in November.
That's right, baby.
Hell yeah.
They need to be clapping for her.
No shit.
I'll be quick. I appreciate all your comments, Commissioner Ron, but we do disagree on some things. If you can get the builders to stop and take a breath, that would be great. Then we could stop and take a breath, but since they're going to continue to build, even on wetlands, that's a problem. 250 came into effect June 28th of
Dude, they should
2023.
have just saved this
before I
shit
even
for
ran for the
after
board.
everything, man.
It continues now in SB 180. So, how long do we let this go before we say, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Is this even legal? By the way, the bear hunt starts December 2025. So I don't think we're poking the bear by doing this. I think what we're doing is saying, this is your interpretation, we don't agree with it. So we want it interpreted by somebody that can actually make a decision. A lot of people have gone through, even I have gone through, and done an analysis on SB 180. And the analysis that people do doesn't matter. The analysis that the judge makes is what matters. He's going to say, this is the law. This is what we can do. So, since we can't get the builders to stop, since they are going to sue on pieces of paper in a drawer that have no effect, I think we need to join this lawsuit yesterday. We probably should have sued during 250. I don't know why we didn't, but the thing is, we have the chance now to actually get clarification on the language, and I think that's what we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I first ran, one of the main things I ran on was to protect the constitutional rights of the people of this county after they had been trampled on over certain issues and things of that nature. We all raise our right hand to defend the Constitution, both the United States Constitution and the Florida Constitution. And when I see that our constitutional rights are being stomped on, all of us on this board should stand up for that. No matter whether you agree with it or not. If this is unconstitutional, which I see it is, whether you favor one party or not, you should stand up for the constitutional rights of the people that you represent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you,
And who votes
I'm
for you?
deeply concerned that Senator Boyd, Representative Connerly, Representative Robinson supported SB 180. This bill strips away constitutional rights that our constituents depend on. And by voting for SB 180, they undermine home rule and silence the voices of the very communities that they all represent. SB 180 does not empower the people, it preempts them. And it denies local governments the ability to, number one, safeguard our neighborhoods. Number two, protect our families. And this is not just a policy disagreement, it's defending the constitutional rights of the citizens to govern themselves locally. So I hope that the representatives are listening to me right now, because I'm going to be calling on Senator Boyd, Representative Connerly, Representative Robinson to explain to the people of Florida and Manatee County why they voted for this bill. Explain how they could fail to see this clear violation of their constituents' constitutional rights.
Oh, crap.
Our communities in this area deserve that honest answer. Constitutional rights are not just negotiable, and they should never be casualties of the legislator, okay?
I got about 10
I'm
minutes.
going to ask them to be
Okay.
humble.
They're supposed to call
And
me
look,
when they're
if you
in the
made a
driveway.
mistake, come out and say you made that mistake and fix it and make drastic measures on fixing this bill. Look, sometimes we don't
I
wanna,
cannot believe
you
this
know,
one went
rattle
this
the
damn
cage.
long.
But sometimes it is necessary to get things
hell, this
done
one
that
started
need
before
to be
Jackson.
done.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Every 2 years we have an election.
An
Guess
hour
what?
before
In
Jackson.
about we're going to have a new governor.
This has been going on for 3.5 hours.
So I'm not going to be held hostage for somebody telling me they're not going to give me immediately $1 million to support a project. I'm sorry. This is not going to happen. And none of us
Dude,
up
tell
here
John thank you
as
next time
county
you talk to him,
commissioners
Misty, for
on this
going.
board
Okay.
should
We were
allow that to
texting back and
happen
forth while
as
he was
well.
sitting there.
The main thing we need to look at and ask
That was
ourselves the
epic what we
question,
saw
are we
in
going to
Jackson.
seriously
Yeah.
be real about when we raise our
Very
right
much
hand
so.
before, right down
And
here
I'm
by this
telling you,
podium,
I
and
think
took
a
an
lot
oath
of it
of
was
office?
not
if we're
only
gonna
John
protect the
showing up,
constitutional rights
but
of
also
the
just,
citizens
you
of
know,
Manatee
sending our
County,
emails in.
or are we just all talk?
Emails matter.
Yeah.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
I have no one else on the board. We've had public comment. I do not have a motion on the floor, so I will
I swear to
entertain
God,
a
if you fucking
motion.
call it.
I don't care. I have a motion to approve
He's
the
not happy.
participation in the lawsuit challenging Florida Senate Bill 180. The motion was made by Commissioner Feltz, seconded by Commissioner Sadiq.
Motion to amend.
Okay. What is your motion?
Oh.
In front of the word participate, I want to put immediately join. As far as potential lawsuit, I contacted Jamie Cole this morning. Okay? He has
I don't know who that
110
is.
people now. So I want to take the word potential out completely. And I want to add 3, the BOCC authorizes the $10,000 retainer fee to become a party to the lawsuit to be paid to the law firm within 10 days.
He's serious.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Pam.
There's some tension in that room.
Yeah.
Hold on.
We have a
Cut it with a knife.
We have a draft contract that we've been going back and forth with Mr. Cole on, and it has terms in it in terms of when we will pay him the funding. So that
Why
would
they gotta
be
do this before
revising
Kratom?
the contract.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they
My
should have saved
preference
this
would be,
shit
since
for
we've
like
already negotiated the
after
terms,
everything.
and Mr. Cole is fine with the terms that are in the contract for the payment of the money, I'd like to keep it as is, if that's all right with.
What are
Motion.
the terms in the contract so that we can understand what they are? Because I want this to be immediate. This has been going on since June 28th, 2023, and we've been sitting on this. We
Yeah.
need to join this lawsuit so that he can get it filed.
Yeah.
Respectfully, sir, Mr. Cole only brought this forward within the last couple of months, not since 2023. But
That's
we've been negotiating with him ever since we heard about the lawsuit. We've been in conversations with him before this board even had a discussion about it. And so we've got that contract, I'd say 99% there. I think we're just waiting on him to look over the last thing, which was the conflict waiver, and making sure that that's established and that's appropriate. Because his firm still wants to be able to represent people who may come before this board against us in other cases. So we're working out those terms with him. I can't tell you off the top of my head exactly how many days, but typically we put in 30 days for the payment because we have to process it through the clerk. But that, he was fine with that. He thought that was reasonable and appropriate.
Okay?
And the only reason we had the word potential in was because we didn't know how many folks he actually had at the time.
Yeah, I got
My understanding,
text from this morning. The thing is that, you know, again, I want this to be immediately join and participate. And as far as the payment goes, you know, we're authorizing the payment, you know, in,
Yeah, if you're
within the terms of
authorizing
the
it, go ahead and
contract.
pay it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how to reword it, because
All
we
you
can't, we can't immediately join a lawsuit that hasn't been started yet. Like, he's, even if he texted you this morning saying, I now have more than 10 people, he physically hasn't filed. So we can't make a motion to immediately join a non-existent lawsuit. We're still at the mercy of when he is going to file it, and I believe participation in the lawsuit is pretty clear. And he's
Ooh, I
filing
wonder
it
how he's
based
gonna be
upon
when Kratom
the
comes up.
promise and assumption between a conversation
seems
with
like
Pam and
a
a vote of this board that we will be party
character.
to it as soon as he files. But we have to wait, we're at the mercy of him and his timing on when he's gonna file.
if it would be helpful, I plan to sign the contract and send it over to him as soon as this board acts by close of business today. If that
now
gives you
y'all
the
say
reassurance
that.
you need, Commissioner.
Okay, then let's just put that in there, that, you know, the contract will be signed and sent over for review today. Because I want this to be immediate, and I want us to join this lawsuit.
Again, it's not immediate participation, it's immediate execution of a contract in order to participate in lawsuit challenging Florida Senate Bill 180. Is that proper, Pam? the immediate execution of the negotiated contract to participate in the lawsuit challenging Florida Senate Bill 180.
Can we change it to by close of business today? Because I don't physically have the contract in front of me right now. When we use the term
Go get
immediate,
it. I'll put us on recess. Yes, that's fine.
by close of business,
Yes, by close of business today.
that's
Can we
fine.
just add that language and that works?
That's fine.
For everybody?
Works for me.
Commissioner Ron, did you have something to say?
No, I was just gonna
I do have a motion on the floor,
I
though,
know.
so we're not supposed to continue debating.
County attorney question, but with regards to us now participating in the lawsuit.
But I do have a motion on the floor. You can ask the question after the vote, but I can't reopen debate
Wow.
with the motion now.
Lots of tension, bro.
Yes.
Yes.
Watch they go to recess after this.
Oh my God.
They gotta go smoke a cigarette.
Shit, they'll be fucking done after I'm done with like lunch with my mother.
Yeah.
I understand for the text, but it really should only apply to sub-bullet 1 because the conflict waivers is an ongoing requirement. So if you can move it to the end of bullet 1, then that's what it only applies to.
It will definitely be this way in the minutes. I'm not positive it'll be this way in on-base.
On base isn't important as long as the minutes are correct.
It's being said verbally. The intent of the motion is clear to everybody. Commissioner Ron, did you have anything to say?
No, I mean, I was, since we're in motion, I can't ask for a question, but with regards to the motion, but I can't ask for a question.
Okay.
Okay. Cast your votes now. Commissioner Ballard, how do you vote?
Aye.
We're waiting. It is approved 7-0
Well-
unanimously.
But that was just the vote on amending the motion, correct? Now you need to vote on the motion itself.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, but now we amended the motion. So Commissioner Ron can ask this
Man.
question now, correct?
Correct.
Because it's a question pertaining to the now motion on the floor as opposed to before. So go ahead.
Madam Attorney, does,
Here, Mike.
Madam Attorney, does, our participation in this lawsuit, which be filed, does it preempt us, like if, does it preempt us from being able to meet with our delegation since we are suing the state and the legislature as part of the state? Does it preempt us from being able to sit down and talk with them across the table of, because if things are, we can work with them, lawsuits filed, we're still going to want to work with our delegation, try to make the bill better, because if they make the bill better and at this next session, or they change the language or whatever, the lawsuit will basically be null and void, correct? If we go up, if we're up there battling with our lobbyists and all the powers we're using, and they change the verbiage to where it's not burdensome to roll back wetlands, or it's not burdensome to repeal 2128, doesn't the lawsuit become null and void at that point?
I think I'm hearing two different questions,
So I
Commissioner,
know
so
I asked you
forgive
two
me.
questions. One, the first
Yep.
one was, does us suing the state of Florida preempt us from meeting with our delegation as a litigant in a lawsuit?
The answer to that would be no. You shouldn't
Okay.
be talking to the attorneys on the other side representing
Okay,
the
all right,
state,
just
but
because I know we get involved in lawsuits and you can't talk to this person or whatever as a board. You know, so, and then the second one would be,
Hey.
is if the legislature
Okay.
does a policy change through all the hard work of all the counties that are involved.
All right, I gotta
all
go.
Everybody going up to Tallahassee.
All right, I guess.
Change the verbiage to make it less
Yeah,
burdensome.
thank you, Misty.
Would a lawsuit become null and void? Because they're suing over saying that it's burdensome.
that's a hypothetical that I don't feel like I could answer at this point because I'd have to see what that legislative change says.
Or what the lawsuit is.
Oh, with the lawsuit, I don't even know what the lawsuit is. The lawsuit could say all kinds of craziness that it could do whatever, so I mean, we haven't even seen what his plan is yet. All right, he's not gonna show his plan, but it hasn't even been filed yet, so I'm just trying to figure out a way to where, you know, I mean, the verbiage is the verbiage, but I mean, you know, this concerns me. I mean, it does. I mean, it does. I mean, just, I mean, I appreciate Commissioner Beeren's comments, you know, but this is a big step, you know, and to Commissioner Phelps' point, it will be received negatively from Tallahassee. So, I mean, you can pretty much, you can pretty much bet on that, so. All right, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your comments. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, I have a motion to approve the amended motion by Commissioner Feltz, seconded by Commissioner McCann. No one's on the board. You can cast your votes now. Commissioner Feltz. Commissioner Ballard, how do you vote?
Aye.
Is approved 6-1 with Commissioner Ron in opposition.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would like to pull item number 44 from the agenda. It's already been discussed here, so we don't need to do it again. We don't need to do it again.
I appreciate that. We are well past lunch, but I do have representation from the Government Efficiency Liaison Committee here. I don't want to drag them here for, we're not finishing by any stretch of your imagination. But I will, how much time do you think you need?
Less than 5 minutes.
Oh, you should have said that earlier. I would have done it before that. All right, let's hear it, Mark.
Time's up.
Tell us where we're wasting our money.
Hi, chairs, commissioners, Brent Anderson, Government Relations Manager. We completed our first Government Efficiency Liaison Committee meeting last week on the 26th, and we elected our chair, Mark, who's here to give you guys an update.
Hi, everybody. Chairman Cruz, other commissioners. Yes, as Brent said, we're, sorry, yep. My name is Mark Stanek, and I'm a member of the Government Efficiency Liaison Committee. Appreciate the assignment, really looking forward to it. As Brent was saying, we did have our first meeting of our GELC committee on August 26th. And I'm really thrilled that I've joined such a great crew of people. There's 5 people on the board, on the committee, with diverse backgrounds in finance, accounting, and information technology. It includes retired folks as well as people with active careers. But probably most important is that a lot of the folks who are on the committee have business backgrounds, meaning business ownership and things. So that forebodes well, I think. During our first meeting, of course, we went through our team introductions. We also reviewed our protocols, including the overview of the Sunshine Law, which I really appreciated, and the current processes in place for doing research and public interaction. As stated, I was elected as the committee chair and being assisted with Dave Otterness, who was elected as vice chair. And we also heard during our first meeting public comments on a baseball field near Lakewood Ranch Country Club. In looking forward to future meetings, we have a couple of items under review. The first of which is that we want to really look at defining our scope and mission, and making sure that it's kind of in alignment with the Executive Office of the Governor's DOGE team as well. And there are a couple of future items of interest that we're going to be digging into. I'll just give you some of these items that we've identified. The first is the tourist tax. There's at least one member had been doing some research on that, so we want to look into that. Somebody mentioned a deep dive on technology, so we're going to be looking at IT and IT usage. Rules of engagement with staff, with using the staff here in Manatee County. It was all, and rules of engagement for dealing with the staff. We also understand that the Hernando County up north also has a similar committee, and so we'll be reaching out to those folks there and maybe get what their processes are. Because we find that this is going to be have a lot of community engagement, we want to look at a plan for generating awareness and getting people to sign up for suggestions. Grants are another thing. I mean, grants are seem, at least to me, a little nebulous. I think we want to be able to get our hands around that, see all the sources of funding and how it gets generated. And then finally, there's a notion of the county is over $1 billion enterprise budget, as is the school system of Manatee County. We thought that maybe there'd be some synergies or ways for us to aggregate things, to maybe, save some funds there. So those are our initial ideas. Absolutely excited about this opportunity and really looking forward to contributing. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mark. Does anyone have any questions about what they're doing?
I've just got a quick question.
Go ahead.
In working with the Doge, I don't think it's called Doge anymore. In Tallahassee, it's called something else. I don't want to say it because it means other things. What those
They're on
things
item
mean.
38.
Are you working hand in hand with them as
The
far as
Kratom
what their
one
findings
is
are?
item
or what their
43.
findings are
So
gonna be,
this might go on
Yeah,
forever.
no,
Who knows?
Mike, not yet, but I'm sure we'll be discussing that. It's one of the things we want to go over is, what is our protocol? Who do we, we've met during, some of the auditors who were here that, a couple of days. But no, we don't have any rules of engagement yet, and we'll be looking at that.
Okay.
Can I
Yeah, Brent.
real quick? Commissioner, it's going to be roughly about 60 days to hear back from the audit. This committee has received all the documents we've given to the state office, so their kind of first step is going through all the information we've already given to the state, and so hopefully our findings will be similar 60, 45 days from
Okay,
now.
then our committee will review, then make a presentation to us of what the Doge found, or whatever the voodoo that they do, whatever they're gonna do. They'll report back to us. Or you guys, they'll go to you and then you come to us. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I mean, or something like that.
I know, this is our first shot at this. I mean, this is our first time having this. So it's gonna be, it might be a little bumpy at first, but I just wanna make sure that we're, not gonna get caught, blindsided by anything.
Exactly.
That they, that you guys weren't aware of, that wasn't on the table at that time.
Yep. Good question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm glad you're on board.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mark, and Brent and Stephanie for the work on this, but in particular to the Citizens Committee. Have you heard from the state's team at all?
I have not,
Just
Brent.
wanted to
did we
clarify.
hear?
Well, I meant the Citizen Committee, not the government, because you were supposedly the independent body, so I just wanted to know if you'd heard from them at all about this.
The state does have all of the committee members' contact information.
Okay.
It's kind of in their hands to reach back out, but we did introduce every member to the auditors when they were here.
Okay, sounds good. Doesn't sound like there's been further reach out, but at least they have your contact
No,
information.
but obviously there's rules of engagement for all the stakeholders, for not only Manatee County, but the state as well.
Got it. Follow-up, so State Doge, now Fiscal Agency on Financial Oversight, came by and had a very targeted list of projects. So I'm just curious, the focus tends to be on big projects, nice ones and perceptions of whether they're valid or not. I'm just curious, what are areas you intend to target? You don't have to reveal, like,
Well,
whatever you
certainly,
like.
as mentioned before, I mean, there are some tactical things we're looking at, but also some strategic ones. The tactical ones including the tourist tax, grants, things like that. Strategic, they're still under development, Commissioner. I haven't come up with that list yet, but we'll be putting it out, I'm sure at the conclusion of our next meeting, which is going to be September 23rd.
Sounds good. Are you in communication with our county administration or staff with regards to the strategic plan, just so you're at least, or are they being given some insight as to where that might go? Granted, we haven't voted on it, but we don't want to show up with like $1 million of cuts, and that's part of our strategy, right?
Yeah, so I'm kind of liaising between the two situations with them about that and just the general stuff. The first meeting was really a document dump. I mean, we've given thousands of documents to the state, so the hope is they're reviewing it and then they're going to come back with questions from that, and that will kind of spur branches of interest and things to look into.
Got it. Okay. That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Commissioner.
Any other comments? If not, keep up the good work. We're looking forward to seeing what you all come up with.
Excited to do that. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. All right, and item number 39 has been deleted, so we will now take lunch until 1:45, and when we come back, we will continue on with item number 40.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna end this live stream. and I'll start another one when they get back.